Number 9. D.B. Cooper hijacking, 1971, USA. One man, one plane, one jump, and the FBI still has no clue who he was. He hijacked a Boeing, took the money, and parachuted into a thunderstorm, never to be seen again. Imagine calmly ordering a bourbon mid-flight, handing over a note, and telling the stewardess you have a bomb in your briefcase. That's exactly what a man calling himself D.B. Cooper did on November 24th, 1971. The flight was short, just Portland to Seattle, but what happened in the air rewrote hijacking history forever. He demanded $20,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. When the plane landed, authorities handed over the ransom in exchange for all 36 passengers, but Cooper kept the crew on board and told them to fly toward Mexico City, low and slow. Then, somewhere over the dense Washington forests, he opened the rear staircase mid-flight and leapt into the freezing night. With him, the cash, and complete silence. The FBA launched the largest manhunt in aviation history. They found nothing. No body, no parachute, just a few torn-up bills discovered years later near the Columbia River. Many believe he died in the fall, but others, they think he survived and lived quietly with the money. And here's where it gets even crazier. One theory suggests Cooper was an ex-CIA operative trained in aerial jumps, but that's what I'll let you decide. There's no doubt in my mind D.B. Cooper lived, said FBI agent Ralph Himmelsbach in a 2007 interview, and we're just getting started. The Great Brinks Robbery, 1950, USA. 11 men in Halloween masks walk into a cash depot and walk out with millions, without leaving a single fingerprint. It took the FBI 6 years to crack it, and they only had 5 days left before the robbers walked free. It's January 17th, 1950, Boston. 11 men, dressed in chauffeur caps, peacoats, and rubber masks, quietly enter the Brinks armored car depot. Within 20 minutes, they overpower 5 workers, tie them up, and tape their mouths shut. No one's hurt, and the gang escapes with $2.7 million in cash and checks, worth over $36 million today. They cut up the getaway car and dump it in pieces at a local junkyard. No evidence, no witnesses, no fingerprints. The media call it the crime of the century, and honestly, it looks like they might get away with it. But then, greed gets in the way. 2 members of the crew, Joseph O'Keefe and Stanley Gucciora, get arrested in a separate robbery later that year. They beg their old partners for lawyer money, get nothing, and when O'Keefe is shot by a hitman, he survives. In the hospital, the FBA makes him a deal, testify and walk. O'Keefe spills everything, the whole plan, the names, the heist breakdown. Everyone's caught, everyone's jailed. And here's the wildest part. If that trial had started just 5 days later, the statute of limitations would have kicked in, and all 11 men would have walked free. Just imagine escaping justice by 5 days. Number 7. Lufthansa heist, 1978, USA. They pulled off the biggest airport heist in American history, and then they started dying, one by one. Linked to the mob, soaked in paranoia, and drenched in blood, this story doesn't end with money, it ends with murder. It's the early hours of December 11th, 1978. 6 men sneak into a Lufthansa Airlines cargo terminal at JFK Airport, New York. No gunshots, no alarms, just a vault stuffed with untraceable cash, left over from foreign currency exchanges. In less than an hour, the gang makes off with $6 million, the largest heist in US history at that time. Today, that's around $32 million. And nobody gets hurt. But this victory party doesn't last long. The men are connected to the Lucci's crime family, one of the most feared mafia outfits in New York. And when the FBI starts closing in, things get ugly. Very ugly. One by one, the robbers start disappearing. Some are found shot execution style. One guy, frozen solid in a meat truck. A woman's torso even washes up in New Jersey. Witnesses vanish. Bodies pile up. And just like that, the investigation collapses. No one is ever officially charged for the robbery. None of the money is ever found. The most chilling part? The man who allegedly orchestrated it, Jimmy Burke, was so ruthless, even his own crew didn't feel safe. There's a line between smart and paranoid, one investigator said, and Jimmy erased it with a body count. Number 6. Banco Central burglary, 2005, Brazil. They rented a house, started a fake landscaping business, and spent 3 months digging toward history's deepest vault heist. By the time anyone noticed, they were $70 million richer and long gone. In Fortaleza, Brazil, a gang of criminals set up shop. To neighbors, they looked like a regular turf business, pushing wheelbarrows, unloading supplies, working all day. But underground, they were building a tunnel. And not just any tunnel, 78 meters long, complete with lights, wooden supports, and even a ventilation system. It ran straight beneath the Banco Central vault. On August 6, 2005, they broke through the concrete floor of the vault and helped themselves to $70 million in Brazilian currency. It took them the entire weekend. Then, they vanished. No alarms, no damage to the exterior, just a perfectly sealed tunnel and an empty vault. By Monday morning, the bank was stunned. The gang? Already scattered. Some were caught, and most of the money? Still missing. Authorities believe over 25 people were involved. Planning took at least a year, and the mastermind? Still out there. One of the suspects was arrested with a Lamborghini and wads of cash in his home, but refused to speak. And get this, at one point investigators believe the corrupt banker may have tipped them off about the vault's layout, but nothing was ever proven. This wasn't a heist, it was engineering, said a Brazilian federal agent. Number 5. The Great Train Robbery, 1963, UK. 15 men hijacked a moving train in the English countryside, and their biggest mistake? Playing Monopoly with dirty fingers. It was almost flawless, until the board game turned into a game of evidence. August 8, 1963. A Royal Mail train is carrying millions in cash from Scotland to London, but it never arrives. At a rural spot in Buckinghamshire, a fake green signal forces the train to stop. As the conductor steps out to check what's wrong, he's attacked, knocked unconscious, and handcuffed. The gang detaches the mail cars, hauls them down the line, and offloads the loot. They steal £2.6 million, which is over $60 million today. They retreat to a rented farmhouse, lay low, split the cash, and celebrate. But they messed up. Badly. Before they leave, they're supposed to torch everything. Instead, the cleanup crew rushes the job. Police find the hideout days later. Inside, a Monopoly board covered in fingerprints, used bills, beer bottles, and even handwritten notes. It's crime scene gold. The police arrest 15 out of the 17 gang members. One guy escapes for decades before being caught in Brazil. But one man never gets caught. An inside source known only as the Ulsterman. He knew the train schedule, the cash totals, everything, and to this day, no one knows who he was. He was a ghost, one detective said. We didn't even know what we were looking for. The Ulsterman might still be alive somewhere with millions. And the next crew? They didn't need a train. They took hostages and walked right into the vault. Number 4. Securitas Depot Robbery, 2006, UK. They kidnapped the manager's family, wore latex masks, and walked out of a vault with more cash than any gang in British history. If you've ever seen a crime film where the stakes are too real, this was worse. February 21st, 2006, the manager of the Securitas Cash Depot in Tonbridge, Kent, gets pulled over by what looks like police. He's forced into a car, at gunpoint. Meanwhile, another team grabs his wife and young child from home. Held hostage, he's told to comply, or his family dies. He leads the robbers into the depot at night. They tie up his coworkers, unlock the cages, and load up £53 million in cash, roughly $92 million today. It's the largest cash robbery in UK history. The gang wears wigs, masks, and fake uniforms. They're in and out like a military unit. But arrogance brings them down. Some of the robbers flash cash. One tries to buy a new car with £20,000 in notes. Another brags to friends. Bit by bit, police unravel the crew. Multiple members are arrested. Some are convicted. Yet a large chunk of the money is never found. One key suspect, a man believed to be the mastermind, escapes. Last seen heading toward the Caribbean. Interpol issued a red notice, but he vanished. He planned it like a film script, said one officer. The only thing he didn't write in was the ending. Number 3. Antwerp's Diamond Heist, 2003, Belgium. They studied blueprints, planted micro cameras, built a full replica of the vault, and when the moment came, they didn't just break in, they danced around lasers with hairspray and a corkscrew. The date is February 15th, 2003. 5 men walk into the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium, ground zero for 80% of the world's uncut diamonds. Their ringleader, Leonardo Notarbartolo, spent 3 years posing as a legitimate diamond merchant. At that time, he gained access to the vault, observed every routine, and placed a tiny camera inside a fake pen. What followed was pure Ocean's 11. The crew? Speedy, the genius, Monster, and the King of Keys. Each had a specific job. They turned off the lights, sprayed the heat sensor with hairspray, and jammed the magnetic fields with aluminum. The King of Keys used a custom tool, basically a giant corkscrew, to pop open 123 safety boxes. Inside, diamonds, gold, bonds, cold hard cash, over $100 million stolen, and not a single alarm went off. They disappeared that night, but one slip unraveled it all. Speedy, panicking, dumped their evidence in a wooded area instead of burning it. A farmer found it, receipts, security tapes, even leftover sandwiches. Leonardo was arrested, 3 others too. But one man, the King of Keys, was never caught. He left no trace, nothing, not even a footprint, one investigator said, and he walked away with $20 million worth of treasure. Number 2. British Bank of the Middle East Heist, 1976, Lebanon. When civil war breaks out in Beirut, most people run, but a group of thieves saw an opportunity and drilled straight through a church. No alarms, no suspects, no bodies, only gold, millions of dollars worth, gone without a whisper. January 20th, 1976, Lebanon is deep in civil war, and amid the chaos, a mysterious group breaks into a Catholic church next to the British Bank of the Middle East. They use military-grade explosives to blast through the wall shared by the two buildings. Then, with expert locksmiths, they spend hours working through the bank vault, methodically unlocking dozens of boxes. Inside, cash, jewels, gold bars. The total haul is estimated between $20 million to $50 million, a modern value close to $280 million. And here's the chilling part. Authorities never released the number of suspects. No names, no descriptions. The Lebanese government was too overwhelmed to pursue it. And that gave the crew the perfect exit window. It's widely believed the operation was supported by a Palestinian militia, possibly to fund arms purchases, but there was never enough evidence to act. To this day, the case remains completely unsolved. No arrests, no interviews, no leads. Not even a trace of the stolen goods on the black market. This wasn't a robbery, it was a military operation, said one intelligence officer years later. And with that, the entire crew probably walked into the war-torn night as multimillionaires. Number 1. Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum Heist, 1990, USA. They dressed like cops, walked into a building, and left with $500 million in stolen art. 30 years later, not a single piece has been found, and the FBI's only lead is a bad sketch. It's the early hours of March 18, 1990, in Boston, St. Patrick's Day weekend. 2 men ring the side door of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, flashing fake police badges. The security guard opens up. Within seconds, he's handcuffed and duct taped. His partner joins him, tied to a steam pipe in the basement. The fake cops now have the museum to themselves. They know exactly what they're after. They ignore high-value items and instead steal 13 specific pieces, including works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Degas. They slash canvases from frames, remove a priceless Chinese vase, and even steal a tiny bronze eagle from atop a Napoleonic flag. The total value? $200 million back then, over $500 million today. Still the largest successful art heist in history. The alarms never trigger. The security tapes? Erased. The response team? Delayed. And then, nothing. The FBI investigates for decades. Suspects range from Boston mobsters to international art dealers, but no arrests are made. No art is discovered. The museum still leaves the empty frames hanging, waiting for the return. It was surgical, one FBI agent said. They knew more about the museum than the staff did. And the wildest rumor? Some believe the paintings are hidden in climate-controlled storage in Europe, still untouched. Whoever pulled it off? They didn't just escape with the loot. They rewrote the rules of the perfect heist. If you loved these insane heists, wait till you see the biggest escapes in history, prison breaks that shocked the world. Tap here to watch next and subscribe for more.